Oh, good evening, dear friends. So here we are. It's Friday. I can't believe we made it to Friday. This week has kind of flown by. It's been such a an exciting week of I guess I don't want to say new work for you, new work, but work that we've been really excited to share with you. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. I don't have my background tonight because sitting next to me is is the wonderful Adam Linn, who actually wrote tonight's piece. So, I'm so excited that you could be here tonight.
I'm super excited to be here, Nick, and I don't have to watch myself act.
Well,
It's very easy for the writer. I get to just sit back and enjoy my words in these great actors' mouths. It's what a night. This is a great evening here in New York City.
it really is. And I have to tell you, it's exciting too because Adam, the pressure's off of Adam because we actually did this before a live audience. So he got through the hard part. So now we just have to get through the actual screening. So, all right. On behalf of all of us, Adam, myself, our entire team at TBTB, our artists and our administrators and our board, everyone, I'd like to cordially welcome you to, I should say, take two of Theater Breaking Through Barriers, third hybrid Playmakers Intensive, HPI 3, DRAMAPHEMERA, The Lost Plays. So all week we have been featuring plays that we actually performed on May 4th that we planned to live stream to all of you as they were performed before a studio audience. We did have some technical issues that evening, most notably the Wi-Fi in the studio we had rented was not working. It went out. So we weren't able to stream them, but we did record them, and we've been able to share a play with you, one play from that evening every night this week. So we have tonight and we have one more tomorrow, but it's been really exciting. The other part of it is I've got like most of the cast who was in tonight's show here, and because they don't have to perform tonight, I'm going to say, come on, screen, guys. All right. So there we go. Chris Chan Roberson, our director for this piece. You've met Adam, the writer, and our actors. One of our actors is not here tonight, but JonPaul Niang is here. Hey JP, how you doing? And Melissa Gonzalez, Melissa Jennifer Gonzalez also. So exciting to have you guys here tonight. Um, I guess I want to sort of just ask at first. I usually start this with two questions. The first question is, before we screen this, uh, did you tell us that, like, did you enjoy this play? Like, what was it about this that you enjoyed in terms of what rehearsing it or ultimately performing it? Do you have any thoughts? You started, Chris.
Well, the thing that I enjoyed, I think, the most is that while, when you rehearse these things, it's in a bubble. And I got my start in theater. I've been doing a lot more film and web-based stuff. But man, theater, there's an audience, there's an energy. You know if something's working, you know if something is reading. So the thing that I really enjoy is that when we rehearsed it, I knew it was going to be funny. I knew that parts are going to be sad, but to then I was, because I was so familiar with the work, I actually enjoyed watching the audience watching the play, and we're all looking for truth, we're all looking for connectivity, and wow, what a great, for that time we had, I really enjoyed finding laughter with the audience, finding joy at the audience. I really enjoyed the reactions and people really enjoying the characters that were brought to life by everybody.
Mhm. Yeah, it was beautiful. It really, really was so much fun. How about you, Melissa? You've done a bunch of these with us, but I'm sort of thinking about this experience in particular.
Well, this experience has been great as usual. The story for my character kind of rings true to life because you're gonna find out in the play that my character is facing a lot of difficulties because of being themselves and who they are and who they love. I feel a lot of connectivity with my character, and also the process was pretty smooth. So that's how I see it, and we all did a good job, I believe.
Yeah, you totally did. Like I have to say, I was I this. this entire intensive, all 12 shows, the virtual ones and the live ones, this was, I think, our best yet in terms of how everyone just worked so well together, and the way things sort of came together was just amazing to me. And everybody it just felt so easy. I'm not saying it was, but it just felt that way. And good theater, you don't really feel the work. You just get taken on the ride, and that is really the point. Uh, I'm excited about you, JonPaul, because I mean, we've done work together, but this is the first time you actually worked in person with us.
Hmm.
How was that for you?
Um, yeah, it was definitely a nice change of pace from just having to sit in front of a screen and seeing different people. It was definitely a lot nicer getting to be able to be in the same room with people.
Mhm.
It, and in my opinion, it feels like it makes the process easier of just acting in general,
Mhm.
if in person, because it allows me personally to make a lot better connections with people when I'm directly in front of them and not talking to them through a screen. And
Yep.
yeah, and the 2 days that I did get to do rehearsal and then with the performance, it was very special, and I'm glad that everything worked out.
Yeah, oh my God. I have to tell you, I was so thrilled to meet you. And first of all, you're really, really talented, and you've got this great presence. Like, when it's one thing to see you on screen, but when you're in the room, you just have this. I'm sorry if I don't want to offend you in any way, but you're like a big teddy bear to me. Like, you're just really absolutely lovely. And you did such a wonderful job with this. So I'm so excited, and I want to do more, and definitely more in-person work for
Yeah, of
sure.
course.
The last person I have to talk to is the guy that's sitting next to me here, since he's the one that wrote it. And Adam, this is the first play you wrote for us.
I know that's hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
I think we've done over the years a couple of readings of screenplays and stuff, but this was the first piece that I'd put together for the company.
Hmm.
I mean, to kind of echo something Chris was saying, it's one thing to be writing it alone in your house,
Hmm.
and it's another thing when you actually hear the actors doing it, and when you actually. It's funny that you thought it was going to be funny, Chris, because I didn't. I really, I do a lot of humor, and like I didn't see this as particularly funny because it was such a heavy topic. No, I feel like a lot of humor came from the characterizations,
Yeah.
in the audience, maybe some nervous laughter even, because it's some pretty heavy, I think,
Hmm.
heavy topics. But yeah, everyone did such a good job, and it's a shame Chris Hurt isn't here because it was a comment he made
Hmm.
from our first meeting that really kicked off the piece, and we'll talk about that maybe more afterwards.
Yeah. Oh,
But
sounds great.
but yeah, stuff that Melissa said and stuff that JonPaul said, I tried to incorporate as much as I could into a piece, and it's hard because some things come and some things drop away,
Mhm.
and you're left with what you're left with, and we try and rewrite on the fly, but yeah, I was very happy with the piece.
But as a writer, I mean, yeah, the whole goal is, in my opinion, you're not going to be able to take everything that everyone gives you.
Mhm.
It's not, it shouldn't be that. It's really your play, but to have an influence of the people and to sort of know that you're writing for these people is really, I guess, the general point. And that everyone in the group feels like they're a team, and it's really a collaboration in the truest sense of the word. Even though, like, I'm not asking everyone to write the play or direct the play, or I'm not asking everyone to act in the play, but everyone needs to have an integral collaborative part in bringing something, turning turning nothing into something. That is pretty much it. So thank you guys for being here. All right, enough
Yeah.
yammering. I think I'm going to start the screening, and we'll talk afterwards. So I'm going to ask everyone, please turn off your cameras and your sound. And I'm going to get this queued up here. So just give me 1 second. Okay. Always takes a few extra seconds to get the video loaded here. Share. Where are we? Come on. There we are. All right. So here we are. Ladies, gentlemen, dear friends, without further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Adam Linn's Turtle.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Jennifer Gonzalez. I play the role of Laurel. I am a light-skinned, Hispanic, non-binary person. My hair is two-tone, purple in the front, black in the back. I'm wearing a black shirt. I'm wearing black ripped jeans and a pair of combat boots. I'm also wearing a black and purple cardigan on top.
I'm JonPaul Niang. In the play, I play the role of Joel, a 17-year-old teenager with immense mental health issues. We'll get to those later. And I am wearing a red shirt with a blue throw-on hoodie over it, navy blue pants, and sneakers, and yeah.
Sounds good, JonPaul.
Thank you.
Oh, Oh, did you lose your key? Come on in, come on in. Oh my God, it is so good to see you, Doctor. Yes, I need to say, Doctor. I still can't get used to that.
Your favorite?
Pecan and cashew?
3 of each.
Okay. Oh, how are you?
Still tired.
Well, you look great.
How are you?
Oh, how am I? Let's see. Well, I spent the entire day, one whole day yesterday over at Social Security. This morning, I was on the phone for hours trying to work out this Medicare fiasco. But this is old person boring stuff. You don't want to hear all of this. I'm good.
Where's Joel?
Not sure, but I'm not worried. He's been pretty good. And he knows you're coming. Ready to party?
I can't stay too long.
Well, you have to try one of my empanadas.
Oh, of course.
I dug out Mom's old recipe box and made them just for you. I burnt my thumb.
Thank you.
We'll put it this way. I'm not your mother. I torched the first batch and had to chuck them in the trash. There was some foul language, and Joel fled the apartment. He said he was escaping the smoke, but I'm pretty sure he was just trying to get away from me.
Well, something smells good.
Well, let me check. We don't need another inferno, right? Ah, perfecto! We'll give the empanadas a few minutes to cool off.
Hey. Rafi's looking good.
You mean Lazarus?
Too much.
It was a miracle.
I wasn't there.
No. Oh, my God, I forgot to feed the babies. I've been so busy rolling out that damn dough, it slipped my mind. Go ahead, yeah, do the honors. Oh, don't be cheap. They're pigs. You know, sometimes I wish I could just shrink down, climb into that tank, and swim around all day with the fishes. They look so serene. What? Wouldn't you love to live in a nice, safe tank? Have your food dropped down from the sky? Not a care in the world?
Never thought about it.
Well, let's toast. Come on, take off your coat. Stay a while.
I can't stay too long. Elena's waiting.
Well, I told you to bring her.
It's just, she doesn't think she feels comfortable.
It's ridiculous. I told you she's welcome any time. To my new favorite doctor, Laurel Ash. You know, I'm so proud of you. If your mother were alive... Oh, I know you and your brother think I'm an interfering old hen, but I'm just looking out for you kids. If that's a crime, go ahead. Don't let my toenails set me on fire. I'll die with a clear conscience.
What did you do?
Nothing to get all worked up about. I made a call to Sylvia Katz.
Why?
Why? Why not? Because she's the head of psychiatry at Columbia. I let her know that you want to do your residency there, and that you happen to be coming out of Yale. I might have exaggerated your Spanish a little, but you can brush up.
Please tell me you didn't.
Of course I did. And she remembered you? Best goalie at PS 103. Remember when you blocked Mr. Big Mouth Aaron's penalty kick? She did.
I withdrew my application from Columbia.
Oh, don't even joke.
I'm not joking.
Why would you do that?
Because Elena and I have decided that we need to leave the country.
You almost had me. For a second there, I thought you were serious. Oh, I was gonna lose it. You're just like your mother. Now, don't do that to my old heart. Leave the country. It's a good one.
Dad, I'm being serious.
Leave the country.
Look, I know that you've been looking forward to having me back in the city, and I wanted to be here, but the political situation, Dad, it's impossible.
What political situation?
No, please don't play that. You know what's going on with immigration and the cuts to medical research and the bullying and the stupidity? It's out of control.
Okay, obviously, I don't disagree. But what does all this have to do with us?
Elena is terrified of being deported.
Deported? She just graduated from Yale Medical School. She's not going to be deported.
Her parents aren't legal. She wasn't even born here. ICE could show up at her doorstep and ship her off to some deportation center in Louisiana. And after that, who knows?
I think you're being paranoid.
I wish.
I can't believe this. You are going to leave the country because your girlfriend might get deported.
Yeah.
There's got to be another way.
This is what I want. Elena and I signed up for an international program that's desperate for American-trained doctors. We're going to be doing some good work.
Well, where is this?
At first, Venezuela, then West Africa, wherever there's need.
But New York's your home.
Not to be mean, Dad, but wake up. Things are changing and not in a good way.
What can I do to talk you out of this?
Get us a new government.
Oh, honey, please.
Dad, you're not naive. I know you understand where I'm coming from.
Well, forgive me if I was looking forward to you coming home. And quite frankly, looking forward to you helping me out with Joel. You have no idea what's been going on.
I'm sorry.
Let me try and paint you a picture. I told you that Rappy jumped out of the tank and we almost lost him.
Sure.
Well, it's not quite what happened. I couldn't tell you the real story because you were at school and busy with your exams. I didn't want to bother you. Last winter, Joel went downhill. It was bad. I never saw him like this. He was a different kid. He got violent with me. He came after me with a wooden cutting board, hit me over the head. There was blood everywhere. We ended up wrestling around on the floor. One of the neighbors called 911. You know, you wouldn't believe how many New York City cops can fit in this tiny apartment. By the end, there were 9 or 10 of them. Big blue jackets and, you know, the guns. And there were EMTs and all their equipment. Some kind of social worker. It was a circus. I was so afraid something bad would happen to Joel.
Shit.
Then, in the midst of all this chaos, Joel springs up off the floor, and before anyone can stop him, he grabs the fish tank and heaves it at me. Oh, it missed, thank God, but when it hit the floor, it exploded like a bomb. Water and broken glass everywhere. I was convinced Joel was going to get shot. But, give it to the cops. They kept their cool. 3 of them manhandled Joel into a straitjacket. Yeah, not great, but better than a bullet. You want to know the craziest part?
What?
When the tank hit the floor, I wasn't thinking about Joel or the cops or their guns. At that point, all I cared about was saving the fish.
Dad.
Joel's illness had pushed me so far, and I felt so naked, that all I wanted to do was do something sane. Save the fish.
That makes sense.
So right away I saw Don and Angie flopping around on the carpet. Managed to get them into a big salad bowl full of tap water. The problem was I couldn't find Rafferty. It was like he vanished. There were these cops milling around their big black shoes and their noisy radios. I'm on my hands and knees, crawling around on broken glass, looking for a missing goldfish. Want to guess where he was?
Search me.
Under the couch. Way under the couch. Covered in dust, not moving. I was sure he was dead. So I slid him out with my fingertips and carefully, so carefully, picked him up. I stood there cradling him in my cupped hands. He didn't move. He was gone. I knew it. Then, just as I gave up hope, there was a ripple. Not much, but something. The slightest flick. He was saying to me, Dad. Help. So fast, I got him into the bowl with the others and I prayed. It was touch and go, but he pulled through. After that, I could focus on Joel. They packed him off to Bellevue. Children's ward, thank God. Wasn't quite as grim as I expected. They have a 24-hour Panera. I didn't know that.
I'm sorry you had to go through all that.
Well, this is my way of saying, please. Please, please, don't leave us.
Joel is sick, and the new medication seems to be helping, but none of this has to do with the fact that shit is falling apart in this country. And I'm doing my best to figure out what can we do to be safe. Dad, I love you. Joel.
What's up?
Your sister's going to Venezuela. Go ahead, tell them the plan.
Because of all the bullshit that's been going on in Washington, Elena and I think it's a good idea to find work outside the U.S.
Wow. Okay, you can say that again.
No, Dad, don't.
What?
Look, I have something to share with you. Elena just made out this letter, and she asked me to share it with the both of you. Dear Joel, dear Mr. Ash, I'm guessing Laurel has already shared our plans to move out of the country, and this has brought up a lot of questions and some feelings. Believe me, I understand. I come from an immigrant background. My mom's Mexican, my dad's from the DR, so I get it. Family first. But these are crazy times, and right now, America doesn't feel like the great country I grew up in. To tell the truth, it doesn't even feel safe. after a lot of discussion, Laurel and I want the two of you to come live with us, wherever we may end up. Mr. Ash, I know this is a lot to take in, all at once, but right now, so much is out of our control, and we have to be honest with ourselves. I would consider it an honor to be a part of your family. Think about it, please. Love, Elena, and me. What do you think?
All of us. Leave America. Leave the country.
We'd be together.
Well, you make it sound so easy.
It's not impossible.
Leave this apartment, this home that I've made for all these years, to go running around the world?
I'm not talking about a vacation. They start throwing out the immigrants. Then they go after the transgender kids. And then the disabled. Then who? Maybe people with mental health issues?
I'm never leaving my home.
What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything.
What?
What?
Dad, you're afraid of everything.
Bullshit.
You're like a turtle.
A turtle?
You're an old turtle, and this apartment is your shell.
Please.
You run up to CVS, maybe go to the doctor, but the only time you're content is when you're hiding out in here.
Why are you attacking me?
Dad, Joel is not wrong. Since Mom died, you've gotten set in your own ways.
So this is how you both see me. An old turtle hiding from life.
I didn't say hiding.
I appreciate good luck. If Helen McCree doesn't put your mother's name on the lease in 1997, we never would have gotten this place. Do you have any idea what we pay in rent?
$1,148.37.
For a two-bedroom in the East Village, and that is unheard of. Not a day goes by that I don't thank my guardian angel for this place. I am leaving this apartment in a box.
Look, I know you love this apartment. I know we lived here with Mom. But is this really it? Forever? You can never leave? Never?
Why would I want to?
Because this country is on fire, and it might be better for all of us to be somewhere else.
Who's ready for an empanada?
You don't like little solve any of this.
Hey, then you can come with us.
Without Dad? But he's never gonna leave.
Why not?
Okay, I'm not making any promises.
Tasty.
So good.
Well, thank your mother, I just followed the recipe.
You know, this reminds me so much of Mom.
Definitely.
And me too.
You know, if Mom were still alive, she would convince you to come with me and Elena.
Your mother? Leave New York? Never.
Of course she would.
I shouldn't say that. She lived here her whole life.
If she thought it was best for us, she would have left in a second.
Your mother would want you to stay.
It's not worth arguing. It's not worth arguing about.
Please stay.
Things change.
I don't do change.
You know what? The food was delicious. I gotta go.
I love you.
You too. Joel?
stay here? Until you die?
Well, I'd rather not think of it in those terms, but if you and your sister are intent on pushing me, then yes, this is the place in which I will die.
Alone?
Now, what is that supposed to mean?
Lowell's right. We should go.
You two? What is this?
I love you, Dad, but you're holding on to something that isn't there. I gotta catch Laurel. I'm gonna go grab some of my stuff.
The shell, it only helps when it's protecting all of us.
What do you mean?
It is impossible to make an old turtle run. You just can't do it. But when he has to, even a very, very old turtle can walk.
Does this mean you're coming with us?
Slowly, but surely.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. I'm scared as hell.
Me too.
You bought turtles?
Oh, the fish!
Oh, hey, it's okay. They can come on the plane. I checked with Elena and she said it's okay.
Oh, wow. There we go, you guys. Thank you so much. Come on. Let me just end this thing here right here. Perfect. Oh, JonPaul, great job. Melissa, great. Chris, such solid work. Thank you guys. I really love this play. As you know, normally I'm sort of in the room alone, so I just am here with my thoughts as it's going on. But I have the playwright sitting next to me, sort of whispering in my ear, which I find really wonderful and fascinating. So let's just jump right into this. Tell me how you came up with this story, Adam. How did all that start?
I had literally not thought 1 second about any of these characters or anything till we had the meeting with Chris, the director, and with the actors.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Hurt, who was the older gentleman who was in it, talked about being taken out of his apartment in the East Village in a box.
Mm.
And I just thought about that and, some information that JonPaul and Melissa gave me about themselves, and obviously what was going on at the time and what's still going on.
Yeah.
And it all, came together that, maybe they were his children,
Mhm.
the ages roughly lined up. And, it's like, okay, where's the mother? What are they doing? And it just, it came to me and I, put it out there. And luckily I feel like the team really responded.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we can all identify with this right now.
We all absolutely. I mean, identifying with something that I never thought we would ever have to, I never thought. I don't want to get into too much of a political discussion, although you can't really not, especially because this play touches on things that are happening in our world right now, happening in our country right now. But I could certainly say that I don't think I ever imagined that we would get to this in our in our country where we would see people suddenly just being rounded up and like hauled out, especially and it's not just criminals or gang members or all the ones that were considered the worst of the worst. It's not. It's everybody. Um, it's hard to even imagine that happening. Um, I just like the way you put it in the context of like really bringing it home into a sort of a drama that becomes very relatable, where you have uh, a father who has two adopted kids. The mother is now passed away, and you sort of raised them. You raised them both and took care of them. Um, Really well done, like so well done. Uh, Chris, when you first read the script, how did you feel about it? I mean, I can get where Adam thought this is a very serious play, and yet there were a lot of laughs and a lot of humor. A lot of the New York stuff is I think what makes it so funny. But
Well, I think what sold it for me, because I agree too. I do think that this is absolutely serious.
mm,
That Jordan Peele said that the difference between a horror and a comedy is just the music. And I think that the actors were such good musicians that I think like Chris and JonPaul and Melissa, they masterfully skirted that line, that they could deliver a line that was funny, but I don't think it was like a punchline or a joke. I think that it was funny in a way that was like, what's going on? Like, oh my God, what's happening here? So,
mhm,
especially too, where, I mean, we're in New York. I think we're going to be fairly like-minded, but I do think that we do want to have this be accessible. I think comedy does level the playing field, that you laugh and you laugh, you go home like, oh, so I think thanks to everyone, that comedy allowed it to be digestible a little bit more, allowed us to consider viewpoints we wouldn't normally consider.
mhm,
Politics nowadays so much makes us put up a wall and go no and keep and go away. But I really do feel like, I think that laughter really allowed people to share a table. So yeah, I don't think it was sitcom funny.
mm,
I think it was serious, but I think people found something that just allowed it to breathe a little bit and allow for that comedy for us to take in the truth and to maybe comfort ourselves in America, if we're not laughing at things or buying things, we're shooting at things. I'd love a fourth option, right? So it's like I think I think yeah, like a lot of like nervous laughter, because what else can you do during these times except nervously laugh at the things that's crumbling around us? So yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I love the way you constructed all of this. I think I'm talking to Adam, and of course the way you directed it, and the fact that you had Chris, who was I wouldn't necessarily say that he was naive. I think he was just doing everything in his power to hold on to normalcy, what was normal in his life, and the normalcy of um, trying to keep his family together. That was something he had to do his whole life. That was so, and it was, and his family was everything to him, including his fish, but everything. And it was, of course, uh, his daughter that sort of came to him and sort of had to say the line, "Wake up, wake up. This is not the way it is now." Really well done, Melissa. I think you're such a wonderful actor. I have to tell you. And
Thank you.
I even said that to Adam. I really think you're so talented. And I've gotten to see you play all kinds of characters. But I mean, there was such a wonderful earnestness and a wonderful like you were in it. Yeah, everybody was in it. You guys were all in it, and that's engaging. That's the only way that really works is when all of you are working together as an ensemble, and you just achieved it. Um, how tell me about you finding your way into this character, and tell me how you felt about how you feel about it a little bit.
Well, to be honest, I feel a bit of both Laurel and Carl, also known as Mr. Ash, because there's part there's parts of me thinking, "Oh my God, this situation has become worse, so I need to find a way to get out." And part of me is thinking, no, let's just hang on for a bit. So, to be honest, I feel a bit of both characters because I'm trying to. Well, here's the thing. I happen to be a person with autism, and for us, it's hard to cope with change.
Mhm.
And I've been undergoing through change most of my life. So, knowing knowing my knowing my experiences throughout the years, I've gotten accustomed to change and try to make the most of them. um so yeah, I do. I see myself some relatability with my character Laurel, who is trying to find a solution for everyone to get out,
Mhm.
and also struggling with the idea to remain in the country. But the way things are going right now, it's unlikely.
Mhm.
So I do I do see my character being in that situation, for which I would personally do the same with the best of my abilities and try to, strike while the iron is hot.
Mhm. Yeah, I get it. It's hard. You mentioned change. Change is hard. I think change is hard for everybody. I think,
Hmm.
it is definitely harder for some, but it's hard. We feel comfortable in our routines. I think it's pretty fascinating that in this play you have a partner who is not who was not born here, even though she may have lived here for a while, and that is a threat now, and you suddenly feel, yeah, we're not in a good place now. I think, I've had some discussions with Adam about this, and it all makes perfect sense in the time that we're in right now, this unimaginable time that we never thought we'd ever see in this country, but here it is. Um, uh,
Yeah, very true.
but I love the fact that you are really doing your best to try to pull it all together, to have a solution that makes sense for maintaining your family, not losing anybody, not leaving anybody behind. Very much like your father did not want to leave anybody behind in this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for which I admire Laurel's courage to do what it takes to protect her family. So
mhm.
that's very admirable of her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. John Paul, again, I know I said this to you when I saw you. I've known you now. I think you did the first work with us back in 2020, so it's been about 5 years. You are what I thought you were really. You really have a great presence, and I thought you were really wonderful when we first worked together. But you've really grown and matured and developed, and I just you were in this piece. You were like, this is you're doing the right thing, man. You're very talented. Um, Tell me about this role for you. I'm curious how you felt about Joel, because he's described as and at one point, having a difficulty with his father, and they get into a big tussle, which ends up having you removed in a straitjacket of all things. Um, and then you come out, and you seem so, your character just seems so there and so level, and you know yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious about what you thought of all of it, playing that character.
It definitely feels like that when I come in, I have this. It's like, oh, Joel doesn't want to cause any more problems, especially with his sister there.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it would make sense as to why he would be so like quiet and soft spoken. And yeah, and when she offers to have Joel come with her and Elena without the father, I think it would be I think Joel would have this thought of, well, like, without father, but we're all family, but I also don't want to hurt him anymore. So I feel like it would be cause quite the confliction. Like, I want to be with my sister,
Right.
but I also don't want to just leave my dad.
Yeah. I love that. What I love about that is it really demonstrates, I'm not quite sure in this play, and I can ask Adam about this, what happened that you sort of lost it on your father at one point that caused that altercation. Aside from the fact that I can maybe deduce that maybe he was driving you a little crazy because he seemed very what maybe a bit more like a helicopter parent and being very you know maybe even a little annoying, that just drove you a little crazy. But the fact is, it's just the connection and the fact that you all definitely show that you have care and love for each other in this situation that is really a tough situation. I just found it so well done, like really well done. You were all such a great ensemble of artists for this piece. I was so happy with it. Adam, as a I don't know how many plays you've ever written. I know you just did a solo show, which is really wonderful. But how do you feel about writing plays? Do you want to do more of this? You should.
Of course. Well, I went to NYU for screenwriting, so I mean the 3-act structure. It's slightly different to write a screenplay in a play for the stage, but essentially you're working with a lot of the same tools, which is create characters and put them on the horns of a dilemma and see what they'll do. Right.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, I have some experience with this, but I really love writing for a smaller play for like 3 or 4 characters. That's great. It's going back to your question about JonPaul, it's funny, I don't want to take away his agency, but I didn't necessarily, at least my interpretation was not that Carl was so annoying, but that Joel genuinely has mental illness.
Okay.
And can't necessarily, that was my intention when I wrote it. I mean, of course, the actors in it can evolve in different ways. But yeah, I like these characters, really, all of them, and I think they all come from a genuine place, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
These are difficult times. They're putting people in a bad position that may not agree, but that are genuine and have good intentions.
I think I agree. I understand, and I think the understanding that Joel's character has a mental illness or mental disability. I think that's already, it's sort of implied. It takes a lot. It would take a lot for someone to get so frustrated or annoyed with someone that they'd actually like physically attack them. So clearly there's already some sort of implied imbalance there. There's that but that imbalance, maybe with therapy, with medication, that can help. But to see the genuine care and concern of that character, I thought was beautiful.
And I wanted to make it hard on the characters because a writer's job is to be a jerk, right? So it's not that easy to take him away from his psychiatrist, his medication, things he needs. So make it more difficult for the characters is always good. But yeah, Laurel says, look, they take away the immigrants, the transgender kids, the disabled, and then sticks the dagger in the father. maybe the mentally ill. I
Yeah.
mean, that's clearly a reference to the
I agree with Adam. A writer's job is to up the stakes in any situation in regards to storytelling. So I definitely agree with Adam.
Yeah, I don't get to be nice.
I also want to just make another reference to something else you said, which was as you were screening this, you sort of mentioned that you felt that this could be like the start of a much bigger piece. Like the ending of this sort of came very cleanly and neatly, and yet there's a lot of stuff in between that could really be added to turn this into maybe a full-length play, or even if it was a one-act play, something that you can have separate scenes within it. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, and to Chris and to the actors. I mean, I was saying to Nick that I thought the end, the last couple minutes where the kids come back and the father agrees to go with them, maybe we change that to just a moment of contemplation and then move into a second act where we get to learn more about Carl's history and maybe the mother. And I don't know where we could take it, but it could, I personally would like to. I'd love to see. I like the Ash family. I'd love to see them evolve in a more organic way.
And I think that's where I think disagreed, because I know that you're like, well, the father agreed. I never really, the father said he is going to do it. Whether he does it or not is very different. So I do think that, extending it to see if he follows up on it or maybe he changes his mind. I think everyone's doing the best they can, right? I even foresee a future where, the girlfriend's deported before they can do anything. Now, wait, what do we do? And so I think, it goes back to, there's just chaos everywhere. What do? We do the best we can. We do the best we can with each other.
Yeah.
Further, faster alone, further together, right? It's like, how do I keep this family apart? There's only so many turtle shells we can have. There's only so many fish tanks I can construct. So absolutely, I think not only can this grow, but I think Adam had, a lot of great comments that I wasn't thinking about. It's like, well, where do you think Joel was before this? And what do you think was going, like, everyone has got all these other things going on that we could easily just take a moment and, like, what were they doing before this scene? And that already triples the size of, quadruples the size of what we already have. And it just only makes it more rich.
The one overarching thing that I loved about this, which sort of really, I think, dictates how I feel about this in terms of it being a short play, is the fact that you have, in the beginning of this play, the interruption of order in Carl's life with this announcement that Laura has decided, I've withdrawn my application for residency at Columbia. I'm going to move out of the country because my partner is not from here and she's maybe deported. Chaos thrown into all that. Then Carl also reveals that things with Joel have also been chaotic. So now in the middle of order, we have all this chaos, right? And in the end, even though we do understand that there is still chaos out there, the love of the family and the unity of the family is really the key element that holds together through the end of this piece. And that, to me, is what makes it a very hopeful, whatever happens, it's still, this piece ends very, to me, hopefully in the face of all kinds of turbulence. So I thought it was wonderful and really so well executed, very successful all around. Tucker, do you have any thoughts about this?
It just hit home for me on with a lot of points about my differences and how I'm how I am independent, but one cut could end it all for me.
Yeah, it really is a certain reminder of that, isn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah, and also it highlights how you need to be when you need to keep your family close.
yeah. The I guess the ultimate lesson in this play is trying to hold on to some order in the middle of chaos. Chaos is hard, and everything feels so uncertain, and we don't know. I don't I can get into a whole discussion about the uncertainties that have come up for this company, for that I never thought would be a situation. Um, and they're new. These are things that there's always concerns about money, always concerns about are we going to be able to, things have gotten a lot more expensive since the pandemic, and there's blah 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 blah. There's a lot of things, but I never really felt threatened that, and everyone is saying they're not after you, and it's like, yeah, but the targets that they're picking indicate that they can be, and it's not a stretch. So it's always trying to find the order and to say we just need to keep moving and doing what we do, keep doing what we do, and just we'll find a way through it. We just have to be resilient in it. So thank you. That's this play, all of you. All right, it's late, so I don't want to keep you. I want to give you a couple minutes before we jump into the next screening. So again, I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching. This is so fun for us to be able to share our work with you. So we hope that you will tune in tomorrow night. We have one more show. Our final show for this intensive is a wonderful piece written by the great Pamela Sabaw. Pamela is been working with TBTV forever, longer than I've been here by a couple of months. And Pamela is a wonderful writer, a wonderful director, a wonderful actor, and she wrote this really wonderful piece called Such Stuff. We're going to be doing it tomorrow at 7:30. It was directed by Abby Joan Burgess, who actually, this was that first time she worked with us. So it's wonderful, and an incredible ensemble of artists: Aya Ibaraki, Barbara Marest, and Nick Walter. So please tune in, 7:30 on YouTube here, 8:30 on Facebook. Dear friends, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same space. Have a good night all. Bye-bye.